Tonight, we begin our NFL season divisional previews. Starting for the next 4 weeks, our Nation Sports Show breaks down all of the divisions in the National Football League. Tonight, we begin with the AFC South and the AFC North. The marathon is just beginning. It's showtime.
From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
All right, here we are. Let's go, everybody. What's going on, everybody? It is our Nation Sports Show. We are live, and we thank you guys for joining us. It's been a crazy week, and it only continues to get crazier. It is, of course, a Tuesday. You wanted the best. You got the best when it comes to the world of sports and talking about sports. Nothing but great vibes here. That's exactly what we're going to give you this Tuesday. I am Mezra, of course, and thank you guys for joining us today. We got a lot to talk about, man. We got to get into, of course, it is time once again for NFL predictions. And, of course, we're going to start off with the AFC North and South today. We're going to get to that in a few minutes and all that. But first of all, the first thing we got to talk about is the way you guys can interact with us on our social media, which is you can follow us on Twitter at @Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/OurNationSportsShow, and Instagram.com/OurNationSportsShow. Don't forget also to follow us on our YouTube, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. That's where you can interact with us live right now, and you can chat with us in the chat. Of course, our regulars, and if you guys are our regulars like William, Randy, Wyand, Mike, Tony Justice, of course, they'll be on with us here. Of course, don't forget also, speaking of Tony Justice and Wyand and Mike, don't forget to follow, of course, Nation's Corner at The Nation's Corner on YouTube and several other social medias, including Nation's Corner on Twitter, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time on Saturdays. Wyand and Mike, Tony Justice, Front Row, and Deb House, they cover the wonderful world of professional wrestling. So you need all that done. You need your professional wrestling fixed. We'll definitely get it with those four on Saturdays on their channel, youtube.com/The Nation's Corner. Don't forget to follow @2SweetCosplay as well. Update on that is real quick. We will not be doing a panel on Fan Expo this year. However, we will be at Fan Expo at least one day, and we will be at All Out Weekend as well at multiple events. Check with our social media to see where we'll be attending. So with that being said, let's introduce the crew for today, and we got with us a full house, and joining us almost back from the dead in a sense. Just like his 49ers are going to come back from the brink because they got Brock Purdy, as Paul Heyman would say. And he's the leader of the Niner gang. Looking forward to this season as the preseason starts here. Within the next preseason starts very, very soon. Leader of the Niner gang, one of our great dudes, Kevin Rory. What's up, brother?
What's going on, everybody? Good to be back. A long little break, but it's good to be back. Get ready for this NFL season that is starting to ramp up. Training camp's done started. And, yep, just like you said with Paul Heyman, with Roman Reigns being favorite team, being the 49ers, just hope sometime this year we can make some other team's fans acknowledge us, as he would say. So I can't wait for it.
And that's because when it comes to you team, you the ones. Exactly, brother. And joining us as well is our good buddy here, straight from wonderful world of GalaxyCon, of course, where he was at this weekend, meeting some great people in the world of pop culture, and of course the great world of professional wrestling as well. If only PopCon had sports, maybe they'll give Dak Prescott the virtual table. Who knows? The one, the only JT Joey Thornton. What's up, man?
What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having an amazing Tuesday. Hope you guys are ready for our beginning coverage of the NFL conferences, conference by conference over the next 4 weeks. And yes, like you said, Ezra, GalaxyCon was amazing. It was awesome that I got to spend part of my birthday, which was this past Sunday, at GalaxyCon. The whole weekend was just absolutely amazing, and I cannot ask for a better weekend.
Awesome, brother. Glad you had a great birthday, and of course, we love having you here. And then finally, my man, right here, the patriarch of this show. Without him, this show wouldn't exist, as I always say. He's my heavy metal brother from North Carolina. A man who I love, man who is more out there than Cardi B's vocal track after she throws her microphone. The one, the only, Big Stevie Wyand. Steven, oh, and by the way, just to let everyone know, this show is 100% live, no tracks, no AI.
Yes, this is 110% live, and that is official 101 proof. Boom! And yeah, I am more out there than her vocal track was on that PA system. I mean, good grief. I mean, come on. Like the world of pop and hip hop, as far as live, it's dead. It's been dead for years. And yeah, this is 110% live. There's no backing tracks, no AI, none of that crap. We're live. We're here to talk about some sports. And oh, baby, football is back. And we are ready to rock and roll, talking about all things football and then some. And with that being said, let's go.
Yes. Yep, and it will officially be back this upcoming Thursday when we see one of the teams that we're going to be talking about tonight. The Cleveland Browns take on the New York Jets in the Hall of Fame game on Thursday night this week.
Yep, absolutely. Hall of Fame game this Thursday. So definitely check that out. Local listings, look that up and see where it's located, and you can watch it. I know some of us will be paying attention, which will be awesome. It's going to be great. But let's get into some news, and let's start off with one of the biggest news stories of the day and the breaking news that came down just about an hour or so ago, actually about 4 hours ago, and that is Justin Verlander has been dealt to the Houston Astros. Sources familiar with it says right here, according to Jeff Passan, the Houston Astros have a deal in place to acquire ace Justin Verlander from the New York Mets. Sources familiar with the agreement tell ESPN. Big, huge blow to the New York Mets to get rid of Justin Verlander. It seems like such a shock that a team like that would get rid of one of their veteran players. But
no, and not just him, but they got rid of Max Scherzer.
Yes, yeah, Max Scherzer too, which is another. I don't know. Joey, I know you've been, like the Jelly Roll song goes. When I only talk to God when I need a prayer. It looks like you're praying right now. Oh man, I think you're. I'm not sure if it's the trade or if your world just came crashing down before you.
You know what? I don't know whether I need to feel sorry for the Mets at this point or just laugh my absolute freaking head off.
I don't feel sorry.
I'm sorry,
exactly.
Elder.
I don't feel sorry either. And Montgomery and Mike, Elder, if you're watching this video right now, I am deeply sorry for what I'm about to say. But
please skip over.
The Mets have just proven my point this whole entire season. And that is the fact that no matter how much money they spend to try to get these hot shot all-stars who are past their prime, might I add, at this point in their careers, to join the Mets, thinking that you guys are going to have another season like y'all did last year and finish only one game behind the Atlanta Braves for second place with a 100-win season. Nuh-uh. No, 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 no. The Mets are an absolute dumpster fire at this point. They have been a dumpster fire for this whole entire season, and I mean the foundation has pretty much been broken now at this point. I mean, Edwin Diaz, before the season even started at the World Baseball Classic, suffered an injury, out for the season. Not even a week ago, Max Scherzer being dealt to the Texas Rangers. Boom, foundation broken. And now, today, on the day of the Major League Baseball trade deadline, Justin Verlander gets reunited with the Houston Astros. Boom, foundation broken. So that pretty much means that the only player of actual significance that the Mets have on their roster now is first baseman Pete Alonso. And Pete Alonso's not going to be able to do it by himself. So, I mean, Mets fans, I'm sorry. Or actually, sorry, not sorry, since I am an Atlanta Braves fan. I love to watch everybody in the National League East fail, especially the Mets. But, yeah, I mean, there's nothing else I can say.
Well,
the Mets are absolute garbage. They are a dumpster fire that is waiting to be pushed out to sea, pretty much, at this point.
well, it looks like I'll add, like what Tree said, you'll have to spend another $300 million just to get the 500. But next year, good luck. I mean, there's not much more that I can add to this. I mean, like this is as bad of a campaign for any sports team after having a 100+ win season last year, and to go from
might I mention their first one in several years too.
Yes, and to go from winning that many games to now being several games back in their division, like under 500. Like, this is as bad of a stretch from one calendar year to another. And it all started last year in that wild card round, getting beat by San Diego.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the writing on the wall. The Mets, their owner has all that money to spend $300+ million to get all them players, and it did them nothing. And coincidentally, Verlander goes back to the team that he won a World Series with in Houston.
That's right. And I do want to clarify, I just looked at this just now on my phone. Except for last year, of course, the New York Mets last won 100 games back before any of us were even a thought. Back in 1988.
Wow. There's a stat for you. I mean,
Yep.
it's remarkable how this team, they are basically the NFL's Cleveland Brown, or they're the baseball version of the Cleveland Browns. They basically are.
Yep.
Or you could say that the New York Mets are the baseball version of the Dallas Cowboys. From a marketing standpoint, they're in one of the biggest, largest markets in American, sports history. And they're constantly coming up short in lots of different ways. From a roster standpoint, from a performance standpoint, most importantly on the diamond. I mean, they have been up and down all year long. Just when they start to get a stretch going, they start to decrease their efficiency rates. And Alonso is a great hitter himself. And I mean, listen, he's been in those home run derbies countless times and has done excellent, but he can't do it all by himself.
Nope.
And and real quick, I mean, it's like what Ohtani over there, And Anaheim, right? They're going to have to do whatever they can to keep Ohtani around because he's their best player. He can pitch, he can hit, he can do it all, but he can't do it all by himself. Just like in New York, Pete Alonso cannot do it all by himself. You have to have a team around you to be successful. And the Mets over the years have had talent, but they just can't get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, the Mets have had so many issues when it comes to not only play, but also just overall. It seems like that they can't keep anybody around in the organization. I mean, you just lost Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, two of your star pitchers, two guys who were the anchors of your lineup. And you're looking at these guys, and you're looking at yourself like, what's left in my bullpen? Where are my aces at now? It's like, it's like if the White Sox back in the day were to trade away Mark Burley, Freddie Garcia, if they were to trade away those guys, or if the Cubs were to trade away, Lester and freaking trying to think of what's his name, the other big pitcher for the Cubs at the time. You'd be like trading away John Lester and another big pitcher on their team, and this is a lineup. Unfortunately, the Mets have been plagued by a lot of inconsistency, whether it's the pitching stat, whether it's pitching, whether it's hitting. And that's not a slight to the Mets. The Mets have had some great moments and great seasons, playoff runs, all that. But they need change. They need some sort of change. And unfortunately, some change is a thing, yes, that they need, but when it costs two of your star players, I mean, this is not a good look. But this is all about prepping for next year, I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong, the hunt for October is still on, but I don't know how far the Mets are back as far as their standings are. Joey, do you know offhand how far the Mets are off of 500?
I can take a look at it real quick. I can pull it up right here on the ESPN app where I have easy access. So give me just a second.
No problem. Yeah, it's head scratching why you would trade away your star ace like that, but maybe they feel like that Verlander is not giving the performance they want. Obviously, Verlander's
okay. Here we go.
Oh, go ahead.
Here we go. The Mets, they are 5 games below 500. 17. Okay. They are 50 and 55. 17 and a half games out of first place.
Okay. Well, the good news is they're not. Well, the good news is they are not that far out of 500. But there's only how many games left? There's a.
Let's see. The Mets have played 105 games, so we're looking at 57 more to go.
57 more to go. Yes. Okay. So okay. I mean, it's not far fetched to see, to see them at least get above 500. It's not far fetched. They're only 5 games out. Obviously, first place, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my Braves are 67 and 37 right now.
Well, obviously, look at that. Look at that. Was it half the freaking starters in the All-Star game were your freaking Braves?
Exactly. I mean, you want to search for greatness in baseball? Go to Atlanta. You'll see it.
Yep. Definitely, I agree. There was also another big but when we continue on the topic of pitching, there was also a big move made, I believe it was by the Cubs, wasn't it, or the White Sox? Which one was that? Oh, I think I've got it. Right here. The Cubs recently acquired Yamir Candelario from the Washington Nationals.
Interesting.
So it's going to be interesting.
Let's see.
It's going to be interesting to see how that works out. But that was another big move that happened today in the world of Major League Baseball. I wanted to start off with a little baseball, obviously to build suspense towards the big moment, which is of course our predictions, which I know is going to take up a good chunk, good majority of the show. So
Yeah, so Ezra, I actually got a complete list of all the trades that went down before the trade deadline today.
Go ahead, lead the course.
All right, I'm obviously I'm not going to go over all of these. I'm just going to go over some of the big names.
Yeah, we had a major ones. Yeah.
Let's see. The Boston Red Sox are acquiring infielder Luis Urias from the Milwaukee Brewers.
Okay.
Let's see. The Miami Marlins are getting first baseman Josh Bell from the Cleveland Guardians for Gene Segura and infield prospect Khalil Watson.
Okay.
Let's see. The Orioles, they're finalizing a deal for right-hander Jack Flattery from the St. Louis Cardinals.
All right.
The Arizona Diamondbacks are getting outfielder Tommy Pham from the New York Mets.
All right.
Let's see. I'm trying to. All right, the Philadelphia Phillies, they are getting right-handed starter Michael Lorenzen from the Detroit Tigers. Let's see. Yeah, there's a Justin Verlander trade. The Blue Jays have acquired Paul DeJong from the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yep.
And the San Diego Padres are acquiring left-handed starter Rich Hill and first baseman Jamin Choi from the Pittsburgh Pirates. And that's pretty much all the big moves.
Interesting. All right. There you go. At least there's your so a little bit of free agency moves for our baseball expert here, Joey Thornton. Usually I go over the scores right now, but obviously we got a lot to talk about, especially with the upcoming AFC predictions, which we're going to get into shortly. But
hardly any games have started.
Yeah, hardly any games have started. Yeah, absolutely. Of course, there's a lot of big news that came out over this past week. Of course, it's been also quiet too, because obviously we're now officially into August. Basketball season, of course, doesn't start for another couple months, another couple months starts in October. But we do have big news that came out this past week, and that the biggest news that probably came out with the craziest news. Well, the good news is that of course, last week we heard the unfortunate news that Bronny James, LeBron's son, collapsed on the court and was taken to ICU. Well, good news is he is at home recovering. He's doing good. Should be back on the court soon. Looks like no relatively permanent issues. So good news to hear on the front of the James family. We give LeBron a lot of crap on the show. Obviously, some of it is well deserved, some of it is not. We do it a lot of it is for effect, just because we like to give a little comedic side to our program. But nothing. When stuff like this happens, put all the bullshit aside. Look, LeBron's a good human being. He's a good dude, and when his son went down, that's just terrible. And we're glad that he's doing well. Hopefully he can return soon and do what he does best, and that's hopefully one day be just like his dad, one of the best players of all time. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All the best to Bronny. Get back there and do your stuff, bud. The big news that came out was the Milwaukee Bucks, or the Boston Celtics actually, made a big commitment. That is to Jaylen Brown, signing a 5-year deal worth up to $304 million.
I went off on a rant on this last week, and
me and Steven both did a rant on this last week.
Now I'm pretty sure Kev's got some thoughts on this.
Kev?
Yeah, I'm about to say Kevin's got his hand. He's got his head in his hand. So Kevin, take it away, brother.
Where's yours, my friend?
Yeah, well, a little football analogy, real quick. I've got the look on my face as Dallas Cowboys fans have during midseason of a Dak Prescott interception. But anyway, that's beside the point. Jaylen Brown, I can literally name 15 players better than him right now, and it's $300 million. He's not even. Someone said he's not even the third best player on his own team. Of course, Jason Tatum's better, but I don't know, man. I just don't think he's worth all that. and the Celtics are damn crazy for paying him that to a guy who can't use his left hand. And we seen that in Game 7 of Miami. Turned the ball over 12 times, couldn't shoot, couldn't score, couldn't do nothing. And you're going to reward him by paying him $300 million? I mean, come on, dude. That's a little far-fetched. If he gets $300 million, then Jason Tatum better get $600 million. If Jason Tatum gets $600 million, Luka and Steph Curry and Devin Booker and those guys better get $900 million, if that's the scale you want to use. But I mean, that's crazily far-fetched. Like, he does not deserve that money.
No.
With no championships to show for, no leadership, no nothing. If it wasn't for Jason Tatum and Ime Udoka last year, they wouldn't even be in the playoffs.
And he eclipsed Nikola Jokic's contract of what, 76 million? I mean, just insane. I mean, but but see, if they paid Jokic 302 million extension, it would have been worth it at this point because he's already won a championship.
Where is Jaylen Brown's MVP award? Where is his finals MVP? Where is his scoring champion? I don't see none of those accolades. I see those with Steph Curry. I see those with Nikola Jokic. I see those with
Kevin Durant.
James. I see those with Kevin Durant. I don't see that with him. I just don't.
Oh,
Never.
but interesting point that you brought up there, Kevin, when you said about Jason Tatum. I actually saw something that was posted on Facebook that said that come next season, or after next season, Jason Tatum is going to be eligible for a 5-year, $330 million Supermax extension. Yep.
Wow.
He will be eligible for that after next season, or after this upcoming season.
Don't take offense to the WNBA when I say this, because I'm going based off of their pay scale. But if they pay both of them guys that money, then they're going to be surrounded by a team full of WNBA players on WNBA salaries because they can't fill the rest of their damn team because they're paying so much damn money out to Jason Tatum, who deserves it, but Jaylen Brown, not so much.
At the end of Brown's contract, that number was just staggering to me. Nearly
he's going to be making almost $70 million in the last year of his contract. I mean, what kind of freaking nonsense is that?
This contract is one of the dumbest contracts in sports. Like, no, it's not one of, it is the dumbest contract because he hasn't even amounted to any success that LeBron or Durant or Curry or Giannis, I mean, those and Jokic, I mean, all of those other players have championship rings. Jaylen Brown does not have a ring attached to his finger. Jason Tatum, as talented as he is, he doesn't have a ring attached to his finger. This Celtics team is not going to be the team that gets to the conference finals this upcoming season, because this Celtics team is going to be a huge different team when October comes around, when the regular season campaign starts. No Marcus Smart anchoring that defense. You got Chris Porzingis. Good job, Boston. Ooh, bravo. You get rid of your best defensive player in the summer, last month.
Then you go and get a guy who is soft as baby poop when it comes to trying to defend the paint. So that's going to be funny. You lose your best defender, who is obviously one of your leaders of this team. I mean, sure, you kept Derek White. Sure, I mean, but you also lose Grant Williams to the Dallas Mavericks, too.
Yep.
One of your best defenders. So this is not going to be a defensive team, to say the least, next season.
They're probably going to be almost dead
put up or
last.
shut up. It's put up or shut up for Jaylen Brown.
So, yeah, put that money where your mouth is.
Very much.
Oh, real quick, before we continue, I got to give a shout out to William in the chat, then referring to the Mets and the Jets together, the New York Jets. Yet to win a championship, or wants to win a championship, but not yet. LOL. Good job there, William. Bravo to you,
job
sir.
there, sir. But one interesting thing I want to bring up real quick, and that is the fact that Kevin has not been on the show to give his opinions of Chris Paul joining the Golden State Warriors come next season.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin,
Hey,
how does
Kevin,
Kevin, the
once
question
again,
is,
the floor is yours.
Kevin, the question is, how does it feel to have 180-pound, whatever it is, 50 point whatever $1 million anchor tied to your leg at the edge of the freaking at the bay in Sacramento?
Well, first of all, when I first heard the news, I said, "What the fuck?" Like WTF? Oh my god, this what? But then the longer I hear guys like JJ, guys who know basketball, talk about it and stuff like that, like it starts to make a little sense. Yes, their games are completely opposite. Golden State is pace and space. They want to run, shoot, and Chris Paul wants to slow the ball down, go slow. But here's where I think this can work, and it all has to do with Chris Paul if he suck up his pride. The Warriors lacked scoring when Steph Curry went to the bench last year. It's plain as day. When he went to the bench, they stunk. Jordan Poole, 0 points against the Lakers in game 4, I believe. 0. A goose egg. Nothing. And that's part of the reason they traded him. Not because of the Draymond Green punch. I mean, obviously it had something to do with it, but how he walked around the court, pouting, crying, bitching, moaning, groaning to Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr got sick of it. He said, "That's not championship basketball. I'm sick of it." Chris Paul will at least bring veteran leadership into the locker room. And here's the thing of years past. Chris Paul fell short and he gets injured. We get that. But that's because you're asking him to lead the teams he's been on. In this scenario, he doesn't have to lead. He just has to come off the bench, sustain some offense, keep Steph Curry relatively fresh. And even at the end of games, and Steph Curry said it best, when they lost to the Lakers, he said, we should have changed our offense up. We need a different dimension to our offense because the motion offense, the Lakers were defending really well. We couldn't get a shot up. Our other guys couldn't score. Chris Paul brings the pick and roll offense. He's obviously going to get that offense going. So if you have that kind of dimension to your game, it will actually help your team at the end of the day keep scoring when your other offense isn't working. And we've seen how when Golden State's offense gets stagnant, 2016 NBA Finals, Game 7, same way. If you had a different offense, who's to say they couldn't score? But it's all about can Chris Paul suck up his pride and say, "You know what? I'm old now. I'm gonna have to come off the bench. I'm gonna have to do an Andre Iguodala of 2013. Like I got to go from a superstar to the team's best bench player." And I'm fine with that if he's willing to do that. But I'll tell you one thing, and this is going to conclude it. Referees are going to have one hell of a time on the same court with the same team between Chris Paul chirping and Draymond Green chirping. Them referees better ask for a raise to have to listen to them two, because I guarantee it's going to be some talking to these refs. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely agree there. It's going to be interesting to see the dynamic. I think it'll be good for the Warriors. I give shit. We give shit about CP3, but in all reality, one of the best players to not win a title. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But of course, that's the miracle of new players joining teams. So we'll see what happens. Other news: free agent Garrett Temple has agreed to a 1-year, $3.2 million deal with the Toronto Raptors. So he'll be playing his 14th NBA season.
Wow. Interesting.
Yep. Let's see here. Also, real quick, free agent center Udoka Azubuike has agreed on a 2-way contract with the Phoenix Suns. So he was the 27th overall pick to the Jazz in 2020.
And Phoenix needs more big men. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Because DeAndre Ayton can't do it all by himself.
No, he can't. Also, and that's pretty much all I got for basketball. Of course, it's been light, but of course, preseason starts here soon as well. So definitely we'll be ready for that. We'll definitely give our predictions and stuff coming up. A little bit of who we may want to see. But for right now, we got to get into a couple other things from this weekend. Non from the Big Four sports, but one of the big things, huge boxing match that took place this past weekend. That was the super fight between 33-0 Terrence Crawford and 28-0 Earl Spence Jr. And
Yo,
it was a
that was a
one-sided
total slug fight.
it was a one-sided affair from start to finish. Terrence Crawford dominated this fight. Couple 10-8 rounds, maybe possibly a 10-7, just hitting him with sharp jabs and uppercuts from that left side, keeping Earl Spence at bay, busting his face up, knocked him down several times until the 9th round when finally the ref had to call it after he landed a clean shot on the jaw and started swarming him. Man, what a fight that was. And now Mr. Crawford is the undisputed welterweight champion of the WBA, WBO, and IBF.
Unbelievable. I mean, Ryan McKennell tweeted about this on Twitter over the weekend, saying this is the most dominant fight he has ever seen. Like, just incredible performance. Just dominating all over the boards. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come.
Mm-hmm. Mind you, it's the first boxing match I watched it full probably in years. Probably since Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. And, it was entertaining. It was entertaining. It was a great fight. And, of course, it's Showtime boxing, so who else can you have on the call other than the great Mauro Ranallo?
Yes.
Yeah, hearing that voice go, Mamma Mia!
Yes.
I was waiting on are you kidding me? So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was great hearing Mauro's voice over that fight again. Made me think of those NXT takeovers. Definitely. But also big fight this weekend on the UFC side of things, too. Justin Gaethje knocking out Dustin the Diamond Poirier with a vicious head kick and then 2 strikes on the ground before Herb Dean stopped it. And then also on that night, Derek the Beast Lewis with a highlight knockout. Basically what some of you wrestling fans on the show may know as a V-trigger, a flying knee to the jaw, knocked the dude out.
Yeah.
And mind you, Derek Beast Lewis is like 260 pounds, and he just jumped in the air, V-triggered the guy, knocked him clean out, and won the fight. And on his post-fight presser, if there are kids watching, please take them away from the room for this one. He said he can't wait to go home to his wife and bust her guts that night.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Wow.
But man,
my.
There were some great fights on that card, and great overall weekend for combat sports. Just incredible amount of great action. So wanted to give those a couple highlights, but I think I don't have anything else. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is that time once again. We are back, and we are here to do one thing. That is make wrong predictions and look like idiots because, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our NFL predictions. And we started off by doing what we did last year, and that is previewing 2 divisions in the same conference in one night. And that is, first we're going to start off with the AFC North and the AFC South. And I'm excited to do this with y'all again. This is going to be fun. And of course, for everybody who doesn't know, just in case you're not aware, I don't know how, but you may be just not paying attention. AFC North is, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, and the Baltimore Ravens. And the AFC South, my fucking phone will act right, is the Houston Texans, the Colts, the Jaguars, and the Tennessee Titans. So let's start off with the AFC. Let's start with the AFC North, and of course, the AFC North is filled with winners.
Yeah. In what?
Yes,
yeah. In what century?
Level of sarcasm severely high. But no, seriously. We got like I said, Steelers, Bengals, and all them. This is a tough division to call only because, to me, if anybody's going to win this division, it's obviously going to be fucking Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, without a shadow of a doubt.
Agreed.
That's not a question.
Yeah, because when you look at last year, I mean, Cincinnati had a rough start last year, and Burrow and Jamar Chase and everybody finally got their bearings together, and they were able to put together a very good season last year, and they were on the doorstep of another Super Bowl, and just they went on this remarkable run during the season, and they beat Baltimore, they beat Pittsburgh, the second time, and the first game went into overtime, just barn burner, and just Cincinnati, if they can keep everybody healthy this year, I don't see why not. I don't see why not that we could be talking about the Bengals once again being the AFC North Division champions, because Joe Burrow is as cool as the other side of the pillow, as the late great Stuart Scott once said. Booyah! And Joe Cool has ice water in his veins. He is just cool, calm, collected, and he is just one of the best precision passers in the National Football League. So I am looking for Joe Burrow to lead the Bengals to another great campaign.
I agree, absolutely. It's their time, man. And speaking of time, did you know I once worked at a clock factory?
No.
But then I was fired for putting in some extra hours.
Damn.
Bruh.
There you go. I haven't done this. I haven't done a dad joke all year long on here. So
Yes, you have.
Well, fuck y'all. Okay, here you go. But anyways, as far as it goes, as far as it goes, I agree with every single point you had, Steven. It's to me, Joe Burrow and the company are just unstoppable in this division. There's absolutely going to be no way that they're not at least 11, 12 games, win 11, 12 game wins this year. I don't see how not with the division. And that's not a slight to. And look, Baltimore, yes, they overpaid for Lamar Jackson. Lamar got the big money contract. But this is the season for Lamar to show, hey, I'm worth that money. Now it's time. It's gonna
exactly.
be and I think we talk about each individual. We're gonna talk about each individual team. So before I get too far ahead, let's go with Joey. Joe, your thoughts on Cincinnati?
I 1000% agree with Steven saying that this is Cincinnati's division to lose. Because you got talent, especially on that offensive side of the ball. I mean, yes, Joe Burrow may be dealing with a little bit of an injury right now that he suffered during training camp, but there's no doubt in my mind that he will be out there ready to go week 1. Him along with Joe Mixon there at running back, the best 1-2 wide receiver punch in, obviously, one of the best wide receiver combos in the AFC, in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You got a stout offensive line that has drastically improved as compared to their Super Bowl year, in which they went to the Super Bowl and unfortunately got beat by the Rams. But yeah, the Bengals knew that they needed to upgrade their offensive line, and they did. And now this year, they've added even more bodies to that offensive line, which is going to make it look even more stronger. And not to mention that defense that Cincinnati has. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that this is Cincinnati's division to lose. And if they lose, it's going to be on them. It's going to be on the players. It's going to be on the coaches. I mean, yeah, but this is Cincinnati's division to lose. And if they do not win this division this year, I will be very, very surprised.
Kevin?
Yeah, I think it's Cincinnati's division to lose, but at the same time, that's going to be a real tough division because there's one thing that all four of those teams have in that division is defense. And defense is always going to keep you in a game. And I can say that about all four teams. Cincinnati's had a decent defense. Baltimore's had a pretty good defense. Cleveland and Pittsburgh have two of the best defenses. And even Pittsburgh, yeah, we worry about Kenny Pickett. But George Pickens in training camp to this point looks like the best player in the NFL with these one-handed catches, these snags. Like, he looks legit, like he's ready to step up. So I think it's going to be a tight division. Well, hell, if you ask Madden, that's four of the top 6 teams in the league. They got Cleveland as the third best team in football in Madden, if you ask them.
Are you serious?
Apparently, yes, they think Deshaun Watson is going to be 2018 Deshaun Watson again, but I don't know. That's yet to be seen.
Yeah,
but Cleveland's, they're going to be in it. Myles Garrett and company will keep you in the game. And Nick Chubb, top 3 running back in football, he's definitely going to keep you in the game. But Cincinnati's got so many weapons. The only thing I worry about them, the contract negotiations with Joe Burrows. Is that going to be a distraction? Justin Herbert got his money. Joe Burrow's about to make even more money. And I'm wondering if that will be a distraction to them. And I'm also wondering how the Baltimore Ravens will look, because you go out there, you get Odell Beckham, you get your guy, you get him some weapons. You still got you got Roquan Smith coming back for another year in Baltimore, who's an all-pro linebacker. So your defense is solidified. I think it's Cincinnati's division, but I think every one of those teams have at least 8 wins easily. Like, I believe every single one of them are capable of winning 10 games. I think Cincinnati wins 11. I also think Baltimore wins 11. I think Cincinnati might get the tiebreaker, but again, it can go either way because I'm predicting 2 11-5 teams, and I'm predicting the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers to both be at 9-8. I think all 4 teams are over 500. That's how good I think these defenses are, these weapons in the whole division. I mean, I feel about Nick Chubb. He can carry a team on his back, for crying out loud. Pittsburgh's defense, TJ Watt, if he stays healthy, can literally wreck anyone's game, as seen against against the Cincinnati Bengals last year in week 1. Like, he can literally wreck a game at any point in the season. So they're going to spoil a lot of teams' hopes, and they're going to win. But I think it's down to Cincinnati and Baltimore. And I think both of those make the NFL playoffs at this point, though.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. Definitely, Baltimore has a big shot of really being close to the top of this division and making it to the playoffs because, like you said, great defenses all around. You look at the defenses and the changes they made. They've done a pretty good job. But like you said, Lamar Jackson, this is Lamar Jackson's season to really showcase who he is and the money that he's worth. Obviously, they paid a lot for the guy. But this is his season to now show, hey, you gave me this money. I'm not a total bust. I'm here to come in here and win. I'm here to come win titles. I'm here to come win conference titles, divisions, whatever it may be. He said, I'm going to come in here and try to make a statement and change the fortune of Baltimore around. And he could only do that by having by good weapons, by having great play by himself. But like I said, having good weapons, great offensive line, great defense to help give him rest, to give him time to be able to not be out there as long. Because that's the one thing is, if you don't have a good defense, if your quarterback is out there for too long, man, it's going to be a long night for you because your quarterback's going to get tired. He's going to be throwing too many passes. And it's just going to be a rough evening. Absolutely.
That's right.
But Baltimore definitely has a chance to do that. And then I would say definitely Pittsburgh. I don't know about Pittsburgh. Cleveland, unfortunately, has been just an absolute trap. They've had some surprising wins, but they've been pretty much a travesty in this division. It's not been good for Cleveland. So, since I'm going to give my final order, real quick on this one. My final order is, of course, leading the top is going to be is absolutely going to be the Cincinnati Bengals, then Baltimore, and then I'm gonna go Pittsburgh and then Cleveland.
Cleveland is
I'm just about going to go in that same order. But I'm going to flip flop your number 3 and number 4 there.
Okay.
I think Cleveland's going to finish number 3. I think they're going to inch out Pittsburgh. I would say maybe 10-7. I would say Pittsburgh in 4th. I'll put them at 9-8. I'll put the Ravens at number 2 with 11-6. And then I'll say the Bengals in first place at 12-5.
There you go.
That's pretty well represented. I would actually, I think I agree with that, Joey. I think that, Baltimore. I think Baltimore, honestly, they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be one of the wild card teams. As long as Lamar can stay healthy. I mean, there's no reason why Baltimore cannot be back where they want to be, and that's in the postseason with Lamar at the helmet quarterback. But Cleveland is a very interesting team because last year, I mean, they were led by that two-headed monster at running back with Kareem Hunt and Chubb. I mean, just incredible running back duo. And even though they may not have their quarterback consistently, Deshaun Watson, I'm looking at you. Even though Watson was not consistent last year, just throwing ugly interceptions. But the one thing that you couldn't count out was how good and dominant their running game is. I mean, just if Chubb and Hunt are on the field, you got to take one of them, or even better, have to be accountable for the both of them, because at any given point, one of these two running backs can break off a huge run and get several yards, and they're just dominant runners. They know what they're doing. And Cleveland, I think, is going to be in the mix, but they'll just barely miss it. And Baltimore, to me, is the most intriguing team out of this whole ordeal, because Lamar Jackson finally got what he wanted. He got guaranteed money. He got a boatload of money, over $200+ million, on that contract. And I believe what was the guarantee, like 180 something million guaranteed, something like that, just in crazy numbers. And he finally got what he wanted. Now it's time for you to go out there and be consistent and be the leader of your football team, because clearly last year, when Lamar Jackson was not there since week 13 of last year, that Ravens team was a completely different team. I mean, Tyler Huntley, are you kidding me? That's your quarterback? That's the guy that was in the playoff game last year against Cincinnati?
That's the quarterback that was in the Pro Bowl last year?
Over Josh Allen?
And that's why exactly I say that if Lamar stays healthy, clearly he's circles better than Tyler Huntley. So they'll obviously make the playoffs as a wild card. But what I think keeps Cleveland and Pittsburgh afloat, or so to speak, for Pittsburgh, they have the third best coach in football, Mike Tomlin. There's no debating that. You got Andy Reid and Bill Belichick and Mike Tomlin. He's going to get them guys ready. Whether they lack talent, they still going to win some games because, hey, like it or not, coaching still wins football games.
Yes, it
and
does.
Mike Tomlin coaches better than 80% of the league. So that's why they won so many last year. You have an obese sumo wrestler in Najee Harris, who clearly is out of shape. He looks like the next Eddie Lacy, is not really great no more. And Pittsburgh still finds a way to win with an average quarterback. So that's what keeps them afloat. And Cleveland, they got Amari Cooper. They recently traded for Jets standout wide receiver Elijah Moore. That's another weapon. So I don't want to hear the excuses. I don't want to hear the excuses, Deshaun. Shake the quote-unquote rust off and get ready to play, because you got weapons all over the field now in Cleveland. And a defense. You got Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward across from you. I mean, there's no excuse. So that's what's going to keep them afloat. But again, like I said, only two teams from that division is going to make the playoffs. Cleveland or Pittsburgh could be pushing for that 7 seed. but the conference as a whole is too damn stacked. If they're playing the NFC, yeah, I'd say 3 teams.
They could
But
easily
the
get the
AFC
NFC.
as a whole is fucking stacked. So they'll push for the 7 seed, but I think it's going to come down to Cincinnati and Baltimore, whether the division and the wild card.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely agree with that.
And Pittsburgh is an interesting team because, I mean, you know, Pickett being their sophomore quarterback, is he going to have the sophomore slump? I mean, because last year during the second half of the year, he didn't have the greatest of numbers like Mahomes or Justin Herbert, but the kid was putting up some good numbers, you know, and he led Pittsburgh to some incredible victories later stages on in the season, you know, and back-to-back week against Las Vegas and against their arch nemesis in Baltimore on the game-winning drives. And just that's very incredible, you know, and Pickett to Pickens. I mean, that's going to be a duo, a name combination that we're going to be talking about for years to come if Pickett and Pickens can stay healthy.
You can hear it now. Pickett and Pickens are picking your defense apart.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I like
unless it's
Pickett
and Pickens are throwing picks.
No, that's Dak Prescott. No, you can't beat that.
Trust us, we'll get to him in the next few weeks, but
Oh yeah.
we'll
That's
get to
gonna
him
be
in the
fun.
next few weeks. It just depends on how quickly his defensive backs get to him in practice.
Oh Lord.
That video went viral super quick, man. Dak Prescott in midseason form throwing INTs to his own players.
And did you listen to the mic'd up part of it in practice when you hear a teammate say, "Come on, Dak"? That's thinking already. Come on, Dak.
Are you sure Dak Prescott isn't actually Jay Cutler in disguise?
Very well could be.
He very well could be.
Is somebody using
I'm almost convinced at this point, or even worse, maybe Dak Prescott is more like Rex Grossman in disguise.
I give Grossman a little more credit.
Yeah, I give Rex a little bit more credit. I mean, the guy did go to a Super Bowl. I mean,
Guy to go to a Super Bowl. Jay Cutler looked like he didn't even want to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, I could say Jamarcus Russell. I could say
there you go. There you go. Jamarcus Russell. There you go.
Yeah, I could say Russell. I could even say Ryan Leaf. I mean, just I mean,
Dak Prescott leave. Oh wait.
Yeah, he did lead all right in interceptions, but he said he won't this year.
It's 5 games.
We'll see what happens.
I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, yeah. Trust me, we got a couple weeks to go, and we'll get to our favorite Precious Prescott. Don't worry, it'll be okay.
It will be time. Yeah. It will be time soon, but we got another division to get to, and that is the AFC South. And this one, the AFC South, is one that could be this one could be a pick'em. This one could be a pick'em because obviously with all 4 teams, I mean, the Houston Texans, of course, got the number 1 pick, Bryce Young. Jacksonville had a surprising season last year.
Very surprising.
Very surprising and really made a splash. Indianapolis Colts are still struggling to the point where there's issues right now with contracted players, and it's and let me say this, it's not their fault. I mean, it's not Jim Irsay's fault. You can't blame Jim Irsay. I mean, it's not his fault. He's too busy doing exhibitions for his music collection at multiple cities.
Yeah,
he's not paying attention to what's going on in football.
Oh, Lord.
And it is true with Thursday that if you give him a topic or give him something to talk about, he will ramble on and talk about a topic. This guy loves to talk about music, and I can't fault the guy. I mean, hell, I'd rather talk about music than talk about my shitty football team.
That's right, the Carolina Panthers.
No,
Steven's number 1 team.
Yeah, losing. Yeah. Yeah, 5-15. Sam Darnold last year. Oh my God. That is awful. Awful. Ugh. How do you win a football game going 5-15, throwing no touchdowns, 48 yards? Bullshit. Trust me, we'll get to the Panthers in a couple weeks, and that's gonna be great. That's gonna be great. I mean, my goodness.
I gotta lead Kevin into this division because Kevin, this is a pick 'em, like I said, but I think the team that could run away with this division, obviously to me, is Jacksonville. Jacksonville had a really strong season last year, really showcased a lot of things that we haven't seen from them in years. They put together some really good wins, shocked a couple of teams. I mean, do you think that this is obviously, like I said, Texans had the number 1 draft pick. They got Bryce Young. They made some offensive moves, and obviously during free agency to try and boost a little bit around him. But obviously it's a work in progress because they're a team that was dead last, not only in their division, but basically near dead last in the entire NFL. So the question I have for you, that this is a division, like I said, that could go any 50 ways from Sunday. What do you see as your pick to win the division? How you see the lineup as far as the wins go shaping out?
Well, I think Jacksonville, honestly, I think they win relatively easily. Like, I don't think it's much of a competition. Like, I think Trevor Lawrence is emerging as a top-tier quarterback the same way Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, etc. has emerged. I think that is Trevor Lawrence because after that Dallas game, it was straight uphill from there, and he took off. And not to mention, number 1 wide receiver Calvin Ridley is now being inserted into this offense, and they said he has so far had one of the best camps of any wide receiver in the NFL. They said he looks like a Davante Adams like player. Like, he's snagging everything that comes his way. Lawrence is developing a nice little connection with him. Jacksonville has a very good defense, underrated, very underrated. They have performed to the highest capability. They gave Kansas City a little competition in the playoff game. I mean, granted, Patrick Mahomes was one-legged, but they still gave him a little fight. But I think this is Jacksonville's division. I think Tennessee can make it interesting with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins recently, but I don't trust Tannehill. And if you turn the reins over to Will Levis, the rookie quarterback, he's only a rookie. I don't think that wins the division. I believe King Henry is going to have 2,000 yards rushing for Tennessee to eclipse that division. And I'm not saying it's impossible because I would never disrespect the King like that. But it's not likely with the way Trevor Lawrence is playing football right now. So I think Jacksonville is going to be the clear-cut favorite to me, and they should win. I think they eclipse about 10, 11 wins. I'm going to say that's tough. I'm going to say 10 wins. And I think they get the 4th seed. The AFC is so stacked that even 10 wins would be like winning 12 in the NFC just because how stacked that division is. So I think Jacksonville wins. They go 10-7, win the division. I think Tennessee also goes 10-7. Same with the AFC North. I just think Jacksonville beats Tennessee both times they play to get the tiebreaker, just like they did last year in week 17. I believe it came down to it on that Thursday night game between the Titans and the Jaguars, and that's when the Jaguars clinched up. So I think similar situation happens this year, unless, like I said, Derrick Henry just goes absolutely bonkers. So and as far as the bottom, I know people are going to hate and clown on me for this, but I believe that the Texans will finish better than the Colts this year.
I agree.
I believe C.J. Stroud. Here's the thing. DeMeco Ryans, former 49ers defensive coordinator. This guy's a player's coach. It's kind of like Robert Saleh with the Jets last year. Like, these guys love to play for him. So one thing DeMeco is going to bring is defense, best believe. The other thing is somehow the Texans took the all-time steal of the draft by getting a cornerstone offensive player and a cornerstone defensive player in Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud. So I really believe that the Texans are going to take leaps this year. I believe the Texans, I'm going to say, win 6 games. I'm going to go out and say they win 5 or 6. 6 being their max and 5 being the lowest, but I think they end up winning 5 or 6. because here's the thing. Last year, without DeMeco Ryans, with Davis Mills for crying out loud, they took Kansas City to overtime. Like, they were competitive. They damn near beat the Dallas Cowboys. They came from one drive of beating the Dallas Cowboys. Like, this team played with some heart. And I believe same team, better foundation, as long as the Texans don't pull that bullcrap of hiring a coach and firing them after 1 year like they did Lovie Smith. I think that was damn wrong. But I believe the Texans have a good foundation as long as they build around C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. It's a building year. And I believe they get off on the right foot. And that brings me to the Indianapolis Colts. Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna talk about the drama in a minute, but let me just speak as a team as a whole. His defense is subpar. Okay, you got Shaq Leonard, who has missed a whole year off injury. What if he's not any good anymore? Well, like what we don't know what we're gonna get. DBs are subpar. Front seven is decent, not great. They ain't got no wide receivers. Michael Pittman wouldn't be a team's number 3 receiver on a legit team. And that's the Colts' number 1 wide receiver. And that's who you want your rookie quarterback who's started in only less than 10 games in his collegiate career in Florida to throw to. I just don't see it. I mean, maybe Anthony Richardson's going to have a Lamar-type year running the ball with the read option. Okay, I get that. But here's my problem with Jim Irsay. Now, the whole debacle about not wanting to pay running backs, yada, yada, yada. But what if your running back is the only thing you have on your fucking offense? Let's be real. The year Carson Wentz quarterbacked this Colts team that almost made the playoffs, 90% of the offense was Jonathan Taylor, who rushed for almost 2,000 yards. Now you don't want to pay him. You say he's not worth it, and now you're going to the petty extreme of faking an injury report saying he got his back hurt in the offseason, so we're going to put him on a non-football injury so I can be petty and not pay him at all and take his whole salary for this year away. That's petty. That is petty. I get other running backs in this league gave you PTSD. Let's see, Le'Veon Bell. I get that. Ezekiel Elliott. I get that. But you know what the problem was? It wasn't about paying them money. You don't give no running backs no long-term deal. You don't go give them 5 or 6 years. What's wrong with a 2-year, $30 million deal? What's wrong with playing for less years and more money? Because running backs, you're right, they don't last long. But when they do last, they should be paid accordingly. And the people that should be paid most in the NFL, in no particular order, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, and Saquon Barkley. Josh Jacobs in there too. And you know what? None of them are getting paid right, except Christian McCaffrey, because the Carolina Panthers stupid ass paid all his money up front, so we don't have to. But everybody else is not getting paid accordingly, and that's bullshit. He is your only weapon on offense. Because what you think Anthony Richardson's going to go throw 50 touchdowns this year with no wide receivers? Yeah, good luck. Patrick Mahomes could do it, but that's Patrick freaking Mahomes. All he has is a tight end, and he made it work. But Anthony Richardson is not Patrick Mahomes. He don't have no receiver. He has a subpar offensive line. He has no tight end. He has nothing. He's a rookie. You're leaning on Jonathan Taylor to run. He's your workhorse. And guess what? Jim Irsay don't want to pay him. Imagine that. Coming from a guy who ran Peyton the fuck out of Indianapolis just to win a championship with Denver, literally cost himself out of a championship by running Peyton off, then turns around and runs Andrew Luck straight into the ground by not paying no offensive line to protect him. Imagine that. I'm just saying that's karma. And I think karma will catch up to the Colts this year by not paying Jonathan Taylor and trading him. And I look for him to be honestly traded to the Miami Dolphins or the Kansas City Chiefs. That's my 2 destinations that I'm looking for Jonathan Taylor to join up with. But, yeah, I think the Colts have a bad year. I think they win 4 or 5 games, finish last. I think this comes back to bite Jim Irsay right in his booty, literally. And I think that's going to teach him a lesson.
Yeah, I will add to that and say that Jacksonville, to me, is the team that probably has the best chance at winning multiple games. In Tennessee won't be far behind, but I do not trust Ryan Tannehill in a big spot because, like you said, Kev, it's going to be taking King Henry to get them over the hump, a lot of the times. And, having DeAndre Hopkins there is that's a good weapon to have on your offense too, especially throwing the ball. But Ryan Tannehill is not known for his great throws. And Derrick Henry, as we all know, is the de facto leader of that offense. And Tennessee, I think, will finish, right behind Jacksonville. I'm going to go 10-7 Jacksonville. You know what? I'm going to go with Tennessee at 9-8. Houston, I think Houston is going to have a not the best campaign. I agree with Kev's opinion on Houston having 6 wins this year. That's better than what they were last year. I mean, and having CJ Stroud and Anderson there, they stole the draft. I mean, the Texans were so aggressive last year in the draft. And I think over time, it's going to award them with success. But speaking of success, that will not come the Colts' way, as I honestly think the Indianapolis Colts will be the team. Yes, I'm fixing to say it right now on our first football edition of the Sport Show and our previewing, side of things. I think the Colts will be the team to finish with the worst record this season. They are going to be the worst team in football this year. Worse than the Carolina Panthers. Oh, my opinion was so shocking that it made Joey's connection drop. So yeah, the Colts are so bad, and go figure, like you said, Kev, that
Dak Prescott intercepted his internet connection.
Wow. Wow. Did
Go.
Dan Snyder hack into his system?
No, it was Josh McDaniels.
Oh. Computer gate. The Colts are going to be bad this year. I mean, Jonathan Taylor believes that he deserves to be paid, and he is a legit gripe. But as we all know, NFL owners are not looking to pay running backs.
Jerry Jones.
Yep. And look, I agree, with Jonathan Taylor's assessment that he deserves to be paid because, hell, he is their best player. He was their MVP candidate in 2021 when the Colts almost made it to the playoffs. But now this Colts team is going to be in limbo. They're going to be in a dumpster fire. They're just it's not going to be a good season. It's not. It's not. I think Jacksonville will win the division again this year at, like I said, and like Kevin said, at 10-7.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be, I would say, around the same 10-7. I would give the Jacksonville. I would say Indy definitely bottom of the division. I would give them like 4 Actually, I would give them 4 and 4-13. 4-13, I'd give to them easily. Let's see here. Tennessee. Let's see. Tennessee, I would give them about the same 9-8 from Steven. I think is pretty accurate. It's the only problem is like you said, Ryan Tannehill is what's the term I'm looking for? He is inconsistent. Ryan Tannehill is inconsistent. That's a huge deal. And they can't do what they did before, which is run King Henry into the ground. That's exactly what they did, and he ended up ripping his knee up, ended up missing most of the season. He came back. He was not the same player he once was. So, to me, you cannot do that because that's the same problem that the Bears are facing with Justin Fields right now. And we'll definitely get into that when we start previewing the NFC North and the NFC South. But You can't run one player into the ground and expect results. So with that being said, I think that's where their problem like that, and the fact that Ryan Tannehill is so inconsistent. Ryan Tannehill is he's good when he's good. He's bad when he's bad. But so that's where I'll give them. And then obviously the Houston Texans, I give them about 5 or 6 wins, 7 wins, maybe tops, depending on how well CJ Stroud plays, depending on how well Bryce Young absorbs and adapts into the system.
Bryce went to Carolina, by the way.
Yeah, Bryce went to Carolina. Well, his career's dead. But CJ Stroud, I could see him really being a force on that team once he really starts to gel. Once he starts to gel with that team and really they start to put the pieces together, I think there's a possibility they could be not a threat, but they could be a team bubbling that could make some waves, maybe even shock a few people. Who knows? Anything's possible in the world of sports. We've seen a lot of crazier shit happen. I mean, we've seen teams that are the bottom of divisions come in and shock some of the top teams because they slept on them. So I don't trust any team on any given Sunday. It could be anything. Anything is possible. I mean, anything is possible. It's like Steven listening to an Oasis album from start to finish.
This is true.
Or Kevin rooting for the Lakers and LeBron on a playoff run. Or Joey wearing a Georgia Bulldogs jersey at an Alabama game. Or me wearing a Green Bay Packers jersey at Soldier Field. Never gonna happen. I would just say, oh, free toilet paper.
He's back.
What the hell, man?
Sorry about that. My power flickered on and off, and I lost internet.
Echo.
Holding on the offense. Number 65. That's a Daniel Cruddy. First down.
Penalty. Number 69. Of the
It wasn't my fault. It was the stupid power.
He was given the business.
Let's clear up this defense. Number 55. Penalties declined. Result of the play. First down.
Y'all shut up.
That Prescott. Rules
Interception stands. First down.
Sorry. Bout. You're damn luck.
Y'all are crazy.
Yeah, we thought that Dak Prescott picked off your interception. I mean, your internet, damn it.
No, I was like Javon Diggs. I got burned.
Yeah,
repeatedly.
Like barbecue. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, no, wait. Even better. I was like CD Lamb. I couldn't CD ball.
Man,
the internet
your power was more untrustworthy than Ryan Tannehill in a playoff game.
Damn.
We were talking about where we see the AFC South stacking as far as your rankings and where they go. Most of us, like, for instance, I picked obviously Jacksonville at 10-7. I picked, and then I could see. I also picked. I think I said 9-8. I said 9-8 for Tennessee. I can see 5 or 6 wins for Houston, and then Indy at the very bottom with probably 4 wins. Buffalo.
All right, so here's the way that I'm going to look at things. Obviously, Jacksonville is my number 1 because this is Jacksonville's division to lose. Trevor Lawrence is becoming an elite quarterback, and he finally has a coach who actually knows how to coach at the professional level and turn his players into elite level talents.
Yeah.
I would say Tennessee is going to be number 2. That's going to be no surprise there. As long as Derrick Henry can stay healthy the whole season, then there's no doubt in my mind that Tennessee is going to challenge Jacksonville, but eventually fall short. Now, here's the way that I'm seeing things. If, and this is a big if Jonathan Taylor and the Indianapolis Colts can work things out before the season to where Jonathan Taylor remains a Colt, I think the Colts are going to be in 3rd place. I'll give them 8-9, maybe 7-10.
Yeah.
And the Texans will be in last. I'll say maybe 6-11. But if Jonathan Taylor misses a handful of games or gets traded away to a team that could actually use him at running back, I see the Texans being in 3rd place with 7-10, possibly 8-9, and I see the Colts dropping to either 3-14 or 4-13. So that's just my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Like I said, Jacksonville, like I said last year, had a really surprising season when it came to and I could see that, of course, this is the division for them to, I wouldn't say to lose, but obviously this is a division for them to really showcase who they truly are as a team. Obviously, like you said, Trevor Lawrence building into the quarterback that he can be, and he's showcased that last season. This is the season for him to really showcase that talent that he has more or less. Really, this is the season for him to really kick ass, take names, do what he does best. So, it's a weak division by standards, but AFC South has always been that way. But we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be interesting. Now that the AFC North, AFC South are covered, next week we're getting to AFC East and West. Correct, Steven?
Yes, the AFC. The AFC East and the AFC West.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I could see that. Let's see. As far as that's it on the predictions, of course. We hit that nail right on the head. So real quick, we got some other NFL news, I'm sure. Oh, yes, we do. Actually, 2 big injury notes that happened this past week. I believe it was one of the wide receivers for the Denver Broncos, who missed last season with the torn ACL, tore his Achilles in practice, and is out the rest of the season.
Tim Patrick. Yep.
Yeah, Tim Patrick. Yep.
And then Cowboys running back Rob Jones, I believe is his name, is suspended for 2 games for PED usage.
Oh yeah, former Tampa Bay Bucks running back Ronald Jones.
Nah, I don't believe that. He just took some headache medicine from having to deal with Dak Prescott all season. Poor guy.
Dang. That's dirty.
Yeah.
That's dirty, but it's true.
Unfortunately, it is true. I feel sorry for anybody on that one.
Also, I want to mention, I know camp started. I want to mention to you, earlier today, it's kind of a hell yeah kind of moment, but DeMar Hamlin, full participant back at practice after less than a year ago going into cardiac arrest, caught a pick 6 return for a touchdown on Josh Allen in training camp today.
Nice.
Wow.
So shout out to him. Back
Very
100%
nice.
himself, ready to go. Hell yeah.
Very nice.
Awesome.
And speaking of pick 6s, Dak Prescott in midseason form, throwing picks all Cowboys camp. First of all, got sacked 5 times by Michael Parsons. Then he throws a pick. Typical Dak Prescott in playoff fashion.
He's already in midseason form.
In midseason, no, he's in playoff
How
form.
about I can't remember the dude's name, and I think this was in Giants mini camp, but that one-handed interception that he did.
Oh, yeah, the safety.
Golly, that was legendary.
Yeah. Let's see here. Right here, here's a little note for you. And that, listen to this name. This is hilarious, this name. 49ers announced today they have signed former Cowboys first-round pick Taco Charlton.
Taco Tuesday.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Too bad he ain't playing games on Tuesday.
Wow.
Saints running back Alvin Kamara met with Roger Goodell today to talk about his off-season arrest and his potential suspension.
Oh,
That'll be interesting.
Very.
Very interesting.
Yep. Let's see here. Real quick. Buccaneers first round pick, Kalisha Cansey was carted off the practice field a couple days ago after injuring his right leg during a non-contact practice drill. So they say it's a calf strain, but he's going under an MRI. That was the same kind of similar scare we had with Joe Burrow a few weeks last week. So, also Seahawks rookies Zach Charbonnet had a shoulder injury and is out indefinitely.
Ooh.
oh.
A lot of people getting injured, man.
And the season hasn't even started yet.
Listen, Kyler Murray doesn't have a timetable for his return from his ACL injury because the new DLC is coming out for Call of Duty. But he's taking rehab approach one day at a time.
Yeah. And the rest of the organization is burning down too, because I read a report out of Cardinals camp that already new head coach Jonathan Gannon has been late for every team meeting and with the Arizona.
Oh God!
He's probably been on a team campaign with Kyler.
Probably.
You're the head coach of a football team.
Is that a football team or is that just a mob of people? I don't know.
Nothing. I'll take the mob of people.
Oh, here's something crazy news. 2 days ago, Sean McVay told reporters that Sonny Michel has announced that he is retiring from the NFL. Yeah, so Sonny Michel has called it a career. Let's see. Real quick. Oh, here we go. Big news out of the 49ers. New front office football advisor, Frank Gore.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Oh,
That's great to have a guy as legendary as Frank Gore still be a part of your organization.
yes.
And I know we briefly touched upon it in our chat last week, but the news coming down that Davante Adams is not happy with Vegas.
Well, who the fuck is it?
Not,
You want to know who's happy with them? Nobody.
I call him Josh McNugget.
Just joining them. He's already wanting out.
Oh yeah. Speaking, that also goes with the fact that Aaron Rodgers took a 34 point something million pay cut to fucking make sure that other players could be signed.
Oh, how generous. Discount.
Chris.
He took a discount double check, all right. Literally.
Christmas came early for Jets fans.
What? Christmas came early for Jets fans. They could finally get actual Jets championship merch eventually.
So have you guys chimed in on the feud between Sean Payton and the Broncos and the Jets?
No, go ahead with this. I've been hearing about it, but dive into this, dude. This is intriguing.
Sean Payton made the comment, speaking on Nathaniel Hackett, who is now Aaron Rodgers' pass game coordinator in New York, talking about how shitty of a job he did in Denver last year. And I mean, where's the lie at? He never lied. He's telling the truth. He said it was the shittiest coaching job he has ever seen from the Denver Broncos. And you know what? I fully agree. And then Aaron Rodgers comes out and runs his mouth about Sean Payton, that he's an overrated coach. He's never really good, yada, 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 this and that. And then he starts talking about Aaron Rodgers. And then everybody's like, well, I can't wait to week 5, Jets at the Broncos. I said, oh, please don't put it on prime time. That's the last thing we need.
Oh, trust me, kid. They probably are going, my God, this is such good shit. Let's put it on primetime TV.
All because of the drama.
I mean, that's going to be the storyline heading into that game. I mean, my goodness. I mean,
When I hear scuffle on the field, I'm going to assume it's Sean Payton and Aaron Rodgers.
Yes. And Sean Payton's not wrong. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett is a literal hack of a coach that he has to leave. He gets bounced out of Denver, goes to the Jets, and now he's Aaron Rodgers' problem.
Yep. And now I know we're going to talk about it later on with the AFC West, but let's just see how he does with Denver. Let's see if Denver can actually improve with a better coach. That's for sure.
Yeah, hopefully Chef Wilson won't be cooking any bad dinners in the kitchen.
He's cooking dirty meatballs.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Oh, Lord in heaven.
Wow.
I know if I have to watch that game on primetime, I'm a gargle down a whole bottle of melatonin and go to fuck to sleep.
Wait, Kev, I got the perfect idea. Put that game on primetime Thursday Night Football.
Oh, I really knocked the fuck. I sleep good before work Friday.
Because Thursday needs something to talk about. They need something to talk about. Please, can you wash down that bad memory of the Colts and the Broncos? Oh my goodness! I mean, that was
they need to put it on Sunday night and let Carrie Underwood do a whole nother remix to Sunday Night Football. Talk about waiting on the shit for Sunday night.
Oh my God! Yeah, I've been waiting all day for Sunday night to go to bed. I mean, who wants to suffer during another Colts and Broncos game if that was on primetime again? I mean, good grief!
Oh dear God.
I don't know what I'd rather watch. I'd rather watch that or watch Tony Khan book the AEW women's division.
Oh.
Don't forget, 9:23, folks.
Wait, I got it. They're gonna put the Carolina Panthers game against the Dallas Cowboys at 9:23. Not 8:30.
It's only gonna be 4 minutes.
Yeah, these NFL bookers and these scheduled bookers, they're more suspect than Deshaun Watson walking into a massage parlor in Cleveland.
And this game will continue in picture. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, Steve, I'll say this much. This game is going to be more concerning, and it's going to be more concerning than Pee Wee Herman at a porn theater. Rest in peace, Pee Wee Herman.
Yes.
By the way, I do want to mention it real quick. Definitely, all joking aside, rest in peace to the great Paul Rubens, also known as Pee Wee Herman. Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Yep.
Passed away at the age of 70 due to a 6-year cancer battle that he kept privately. All the best to his family, friends, and fans. Also, that Angus Cloud guy, kid who unfortunately passed away at the age of 25 on the Netflix show Euphoria. Lost him too, so definitely wanted to mention those real quick. But also real quick, we're talking more about the NFL still, and let's see here. Jalen Ramsey will have surgery or had surgery on his meniscus tear. There's no exact timeline, but it says that his surgery went pretty well. So looks like things are going to be on the up and up for old Jalen Ramsey. It sucks he got injured this past week, but hopefully he'll be back relatively soon for Miami. So that was a big blow for Miami to lose him, especially at the beginning of the season. But it's gonna be interesting, to say the least. Wow, here's some big news right here coming out of the world of college football. The University of Colorado's Board of Regents voted unanimously to leave the Pac-12 for the Big 12 after the 2023-2024 season. Wow, that's a pretty big news coming out of the college world. I just
Absolutely.
So that was just off of Adam Schefter's Twitter. So let's see. Otherwise, says that there isn't really any other big news I have. And I think that's pretty much it in the world of sports. I don't have anything else. Anything else you guys want to run down real quick before we get out of here?
Only thing I could think of right off the top of my head is that Dalvin Cook is obviously still without a team, and there's rumors that he could go to the Patriots, he could go to the Dolphins.
What about the Jets?
Or the Jets? Yeah, good call.
Well, I mean, that was the original. I think that was the original plan, because Aaron Rodgers, you're not going to take a $30 million pay cut without having a reason behind it.
Yeah,
and
because obviously
that reason is Dalvin Cook.
Look. As much as we give Aaron Rodgers shit, he is a smart businessman.
Very smart.
He knows. He's got that's why he's one of the best players that part of this generation. And that's because he's not only smart acumen when it comes to the football field, but he's a smart acumen when it comes to stuff like this. When it comes to business and making things make sense. Him taking a pay cut so they could sign more players and build more of a team around him is exactly what he wants. And you know what? That is with Dalvin Cook on free agency, and also with Davante Adams out there as well, his old player in Green Bay. Look, there's a couple of options, and trust me, Aaron's not stupid.
He will make far from stupid. I mean,
no, he'll try to make it work somehow.
If he can somehow get Adams and Cook on this team at the same time, my God, I mean, that would be a huge move in the offseason.
It would, but here's the problem. There's no fucking scapegoat at that point that Aaron Rodgers can use. Oh, I didn't have a defense. Oh, I didn't do this. Oh, my team ain't this. Oh, I didn't have this. Like he's had for fucking how many years in Green Bay? Always complaining. I ain't had a defense. My defense ain't show up. My running backs don't show up. My receivers can't catch. My offensive line won't block. What's it going to be for the Jets? Because the Jets, you got a top 5 defense in football last year. You get Davante Adams, you're going to have him and Garrett Wilson coming up. Come on now. And then you go get Breece Hall, or you got Breece Hall coming back. You get Dalvin Cook. I mean, what's the excuse now if they go lose? Like, this will honestly make everyone stop talking about Dak Prescott and the Cowboys to talk about Aaron Rodgers this year if they choke it away and not do nothing. Not even they don't even have to win the Super Bowl. If they make it to the AFC Championship game, I won't hate, because beating the Chiefs is a fucking different level, first of all.
Yeah.
So if they make the AFC Championship game, I'll let it slide. I won't even talk about the Jets. But if they go get put out in the first round or don't even make the playoffs, oh, yeah, I'm talking about it. Get on them.
Oh, yeah. And they'll absolutely deserve it. Sure. Because all the moves that Rodgers has done in this offseason, manipulating his way out of Green Bay, going to New York, they got all the spotlight on them. And look, I mean, again, Rodgers is a smart man, taking a pay cut like Tom Brady would during his career, like Patrick Mahomes has done for the past 3 seasons. And look what that's done for Mahomes. He's been to 2 Super Bowls after winning his first Super Bowl, and he won his second ring last season, with Kansas City, obviously. And Aaron Rodgers has not been back to the Super Bowl since when they beat Pittsburgh in Super Bowl 45 in 2010, 2011. And just, I mean, Aaron has had talent around him, all the talent that he had in Green Bay, with, Greg Jennings and Donald Driver and Jordan Nelson, and James Jones, when they won that championship in 2010, and, Grant, at running back, and a young James Starks, at running back, and Jermichael Finley, and just a great team around him. And then the defense, side, with Charles Woodson, leading that defensive back, and Clay Matthews. I mean, and Nick Collins, and everybody down the line. I mean, Aaron had a defense then. He's got it now. There's no reason. Like, honestly, this Jets team on paper could look like, if they get their acquisitions that they want to get, this could look like that 2014 Packers team that was a play away from getting to the Super Bowl once again.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
It's put up or shut up. It is put up or shut up for the Jets. And we will get to the Jets next week.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. Anything else before we get out of here? Anything you guys want to add?
I do want to confirm real quick. I have just received some big breaking news, and I can officially confirm this. There will be no Broncos-Colts game this year in primetime.
Why, thank you. We have been blessed by the football gods for not having to suffer during another agonizing, shitty football televised game. Thank you. Amen.
But guess what game might be shifted over to primetime based on what I'm looking at?
Let's go.
The Jets and the Broncos.
Damn it.
Just when you thought you were spared, Steven.
Joey, may I? What week is that supposed to be?
Week number 5, good sir.
Coincidence!
I think not.
I think not. You're going to put the Broncos in prime time on Thursday night. October the 5th. Wow.
Oh,
if I
man.
sit and watch that game, I think I'm gonna drink my whole fucking thing of broken skulls.
I think I'm going to drink me a whole bottle of wine. Oh my God, I had to suffer during that game.
Broken skull IPA. Oh, and that's the bottom line because I said so.
Let's see. I'm trying to find some other trash games real quick.
Please do.
Let's see.
There's a lot of trash games.
Let's see. Trying to find some. Oh, well, this one's not going to be a trash game. November 5th, week 9 on Sunday Night Football.
Okay.
Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Oh, real good.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be a good one. Let's see. Trying to find.
I'm looking forward to any
stuff.
Green Bay Chicago game because I can't wait to stomp Jordan Love into the ground.
You're going to love doing that. Yeah.
Man. Oh, God. Oh, God. I don't know if I should say this one.
You should. Why not? That's the fun part.
Week 10. Sunday Night Football.
Oh, I love Sunday night.
The New York Jets and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, here's the game. At least it'll be mildly interesting. At least the Raiders will get the ass whipping they deserve. So.
Oh boy!
I'm gonna watch that game just to watch Aaron Rodgers kill him. That way I know Randy. Because that way I know Randy's laughing inside his little black heart.
Yeah, seeing as how Tom Brady's going to be a part-time owner of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, by the way, I heard Tom Brady's doing commentary for the game, especially for Randy.
We're gonna call up the people in Fox and go, hey, can you dedicate this game to Randy?
Here we go. Week 11 Sunday Night Football. The Vikings and the Broncos.
Oh boy, Captain Kirk and
we might actually see Captain Kirk throw for 4 touchdowns since he'll be in prime time.
Not.
Oh golly.
Football is back. It's a thing of beauty and a thing of misery, all in the same token. Depends on what team you are a fan of.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Let me see. Trying to find some other trash games real quick. Let's see. I think this might be the last of them. I'm looking. Of course, you never know what's going to happen. Ooh, here we go. This one's not a trash game, but this one's going to be a pretty good one. Week 14. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Now we're talking.
Yes.
Let's see.
They did pretty good with some of these primetime games this year.
Oh, yeah, they did pretty good with some of these. Let's see, week 16. I'm not really seeing anything too awful trashy.
The only time these games become trashy is when the teams are trashy.
Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah.
Here we go. Kevin's going to be excited about this one. On Christmas Day, or I guess you'd say Christmas night, week 16, the Baltimore Ravens going to SoFi to take on the Niners.
Ooh.
Don't let Lamar get caught by Nick Bosa. He better run for his life.
Yup.
Oh my gosh. Just when I thought they wouldn't put a trash game on Thursday Night Football, they did it. They did it. Week 17, Jets and the Browns.
Yawn.
Yawn.
Mid.
Mid. All right, and I believe that's the end of the trashy games that I'm seeing.
All right.
For now.
So, who knows what we're going to see is, I'm just glad we're not seeing another Broncos-Colts 9-6 game in overtime.
Oh. Thank God. We've been spared misery for now.
Send them to London and don't televise it and take their plane so they can't come back.
Oh, but
left in London.
Yeah, but that's all I got.
Well, I do want to mention something that I think is hilarious, and Cowboy fans might want to close your ears. But I don't know if you talked about it last week, but Zach Martin, who's a 99 on Madden, by the way, probably the best guard in football for the Dallas Cowboys, is sitting out and holding out because he hasn't got his money. However, Jerry Jones, instead of paying someone who is key to block for your mid quarterback, you pay Trayvon Diggs $100 million.
Yes, we did talk about Trayvon Diggs.
What, to get barbecued?
$97 million.
What? You pay this guy when your right guard is holding out because he wants money to block for your trash quarterback, and you don't pay him, but you're going to pay a corner who constantly is pouting, getting roasted, can't tackle. Hell, he's a poor man's Jalen Ramsey. What do you know? Just not as good.
Yes, and not to mention, like you mentioned on Facebook, Kevin, whenever he's gone up against Brandon Ayuk the past 2 years, Ayuk's cooked him.
It's easy to cook Trayvon Diggs. Double move him to death, and he can pick the ball off, but that's all he can do. He can't cover. It's more to play in corner than just grabbing interceptions. You got to put the fear in other quarterbacks. People's throwing your way because they're not scared of you. Like, when I look at corners, I look at guys like Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, guys where quarterbacks won't even look to that side of the field because they're scared.
Oh, heck no. And
no one's scared of him like that.
And speaking of not throwing your way, how about Sauce Gardner? He's one of the best modern day cornerbacks and early Darrelle Revis.
He's got the potential to be the best corner in the game in the next year.
Yeah, he's definitely got that potential.
He's clamps.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. Final thoughts here, gentlemen. Let's start off with Joey.
Amazing show with you guys. Like we've all mentioned all throughout the show, football is finally back.
Yep.
So catch us next week here on our Nation Sports Show when we give our personal opinions regarding the AFC East and the AFC West. We're going to be right here on YouTube talking about it next week. So, but until then, enjoy the sports. If you don't take a whole bottle of melatonin beforehand, try to enjoy the Hall of Fame game between the Jets and the Browns this week on Thursday night. And enjoy the sports, enjoy time with family. Whatever you decide to do, just have fun doing it. Peace out.
All right, Kevin.
Yeah, it was great to be back. And Joey, let me add on to what you said. No, only people take bottles of melatonin when they have to watch and endure Broncos and Jets. But except Cowboy fans, they take a whole fifth of liquor after witnessing Dak Prescott's interception. But no, it was good to be back. And good to clown the Cowboys again.
You know what I wish?
But
real quick,
yeah, I also can't wait to talk about the AFC East and the AFC Best, or I call it the AFC Beast and the AFC Best, because that's the two best divisions in football. But can't wait to discuss that next week, and hope everybody enjoys the rest of the week of sports, training camps, hopes their team stays relatively healthy in the NFL, and we'll see.
And I'll add to this before I get to my final thoughts. I honestly really wish that on Thanksgiving Day that it was the Cowboys versus the Panthers. That way all Panthers and Cowboys fans can be thankful, gather around their television sets, and just be thankful that the two most god-awful fan bases can unite under one roof, turkeys and all, to be thankful to be witnessing Dak Prescott throwing yet more interceptions.
Stephen, they need to play on Christmas, because both quarterbacks are the epitome of the gift that keeps on giving when they give away the interceptions to the other team. Dak Prescott is literally the epitome of the gift that keeps on giving. Yes, he keeps on giving the football away. So,
yeah,
you get a pick. You get a pick. You get a pick. We all get a pick.
Or better yet, if either one of those two teams do wind up playing on Thanksgiving or Christmas anytime soon, everybody will be in a turkey coma and fall asleep from eating too much turkey.
Yes.
Yeah, he is the Oprah Winfrey of interceptions.
Ha!
And
accurately put it.
Yes.
Steven, you know how to close it out, brother.
So I would like to say what a great show would you find, gentlemen, here on the show tonight as we start our NFL divisional previews for the year 2023-24. And looking forward to yet another full year, because from here on out, folks, we are jam-packed on this show. And we'll get even more jam-packed when it comes to baseball playoff time and the NBA season starting up in October. And just, my goodness, I mean, it feels so great to be a sports fan with football coming back this week for the preseason. Yeah, we know it's the preseason, but damn it to hell, football is back. And man, the season kicks off next month in Kansas City with the Chiefs and the Lions. I mean, just the madness is just getting underway. And great show with you guys. And we will be back next Tuesday talking about the AFC East and the AFC West, and looking forward to that. And also all the other news that comes out from all around the other worlds of sports. And you can follow us on Twitter at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at YouTube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. And also don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner. Everywhere else on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it is at The Nation's Corner. And speaking of said Nation's Corner, check out the guys and gal this Saturday August 5th, SummerSlam from Detroit Rock Mother Trucking City. Oh, it's going to be a great night of wrestling in the Motor City. And check out, like I said, the crew on Saturday as they give their opinions on the biggest party of the summer, going to Detroit at Ford Field, and looking forward to Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar absolutely destroying each other. And and Uso taking on Roman Reigns, and that's going to be a great couple of matches on on that card. I mean, just SummerSlam this Saturday. Looking forward to that, and looking forward to the Nation's Corner this Saturday as a recap the week in professional wrestling and talking about AEW Dynamite, Impact, NXT, whatever the hell the guys and the gal that's time to talk about. They talk about it on the Nation's Corner Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific time. And with that being said, Ezra, wrap us up as you all well know how to do, my friend.
Absolutely, Steven. Thank you guys so much for joining us as always. Thank you to my cohorts here for what a great show. We covered, of course, the two great divisions, AFC North, AFC South. We'll be doing AFC East and West next week, as well as all of the sports news that comes in. We will let you know about it. Follow us on our social medias, including our individual social medias, which will be in the description. And also mentioning wrestling, a couple of quick things. Right now, the New Japan Best of the Super Juniors, or not the Super Juniors, the G1 Climax 32 or 33 is going on right now over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, big tournament featuring the best heavyweights on the planet. And it's been a hell of a tournament, man. And Eddie Kingston coming in, get some surprising wins representing AEW, and of course, being the New Japan Strong Openweight champ. Okada dominating as he always does. Ospreay, I mean, come on, Will Ospreay is Will Ospreay. But that, and also this weekend, also GCW has a show in Detroit called The Way I Am, where there will be a special non-wrestling but special guest appearance by the one, the only Jeff Hardy, who will be on that show this weekend. And also announced for the GCW show I'm going to in Chicago called Say You Will, former IWGP Junior Tag Team Champion from Italy and from the United Empire, the Nova Fireball, Francesco Akira. Don't forget to check all that shit out coming up too. All Out Starcast September 1st and 3rd. Of course, that weekend, AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, August 30th. Collision, of course, that day as well. GCW on Friday, and then All Out on Sunday. So definitely check all that out too as well. But enough of my yanking. Let's close this bitch out. So for Kevin Rory, for Joey Thornton, for Stevie Wyand, and for our boy Randy Guy, and for everybody who joined us tonight, I am Ezra Vickery, and we will see you right here next week with another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you next Tuesday for more NFL preseason coverage. Take care. Have a great week. We'll see you all next time.